All right. So we're recording. Does anybody have objections with me starting the intro?
Nope.
Getting into it? All right, because we got two shows to do. Oh, yeah, your video's freaking out. Oh, my God.
I know. It's like, I can't figure it out.
Sweet.
Touch my Big Mac. You get on your knees and touch my Big Mac.
Hey, this is a family show. We don't want that on there. That's for private moments when you're alone. Shh. All right, I'm gonna push the button, so clean it up, bud.
I'm good. Almost done.
Welcome to the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room Podcast. We are here to podcast about anything and everything Star Wars with you. Please visit our website where you can play current and past episodes. That's https://RABR.KyleJohansson.us. That's RABR.KyleJohansen.us. On the left-hand side is a navigation menu. You can use this to learn how to load the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast on your Android or Apple phone and tablet. And we have direct links to our podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts. Please participate by connecting to our social media, answering questions of the week, or submitting feedback directly from the site. Again, all of these are available at the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room website at RABR.KyleJohansen.us. And now, it's time to talk Star Wars. I am Kyle John Johansson, and this is Andrew Scott Sutton. Say hello. Hello. I don't know where Andrew went. Hello. So we got Rick. There he is. Oh, he fell asleep. We got Rick here today, too. So we got a full house. Today we're going to review Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 12. And a little bit later we'll do some Mandoverse stuff, too. So this one's called The Outpost. We're going to discuss some news, which we're just going to continue talking about the AT-ATs. There's, like I was telling Scott last week, there's like 6 or 7 different types. And we went through a couple of them last week, so Rick, you might listen to the first part to catch up on those. But and then we'll do a detailed recap of the episode and go for some questions and thoughts about the episode. All right. So that means we're going to start out with the news. It's time for the news. All right. And just for anybody's reference, all these news type of things, they have a link on the webpage under the exact show. In the show notes, we have the cast members' links to their IMDb pages as well. So the first thing we're talking, like we're talking about the AT-ATs, which are all-terrain armored transports. That's what it stands for. And today's is called the First Order Armored Transport. Manufactured in Kuwait, of course, which is one of the main manufacturing. And it was obviously commissioned by the First Order. It's close to this.
That sounds something like Kuwait.
It does. And I think they changed the name a little bit to make it so it wasn't Kuwait, but yeah. So yes, this was the same type of model that was used previously, the Galactic War or Galactic Empire's ATA. The First Orders has bigger mega caliber guns. It says larger all-terrain mega caliber 6 guns, which we saw during the battle crate. We know where Luke Skywalker's standing there and he says, more, fire more. Those were those guns, not the one that was on the ground that was cracking the door open, but those things. They featured increased armor and a boarding ramp under its chin, which is interesting. In place of the heavy laser cannons, there was the primary cannons were mounted on the sides of the head instead of underneath. There's for docking that could that's weird. They're so tall that I don't know how you could get a ramp that's kind of long, because as we talked about before, the length from front to back is 24 meters, width is 10 meters, and the height is 22. So it's almost as tall as it is long. And it has this one in particular has one gunner, a pilot, and a commander who is, I guess, observing, kind of like what you see when you see in a construction site. There's always one guy standing around giving orders.
Supervisor.
Exactly. So that's one of them. Like I said, it appeared. We saw that in the second sequel movie, The Death of Skywalker. No, that's not what it was called. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is called an all-terrain armored cargo transport.
What?
And they're abbreviated ATA-ACT. It was a larger version of the standard transport combat walker, but it also featured a dedicated cargo bed to transport heavy building materials or other combat munitions. So this is more of a semi or a train on the rail or whatever. This one is quite a bit bigger. Length is 34 meters. Height is 31. Maximum speed's 50 kph, which I think that's kilometers in Star Wars, but I don't know. I don't know what they would call it. Let's see.
Something per second.
Yeah, kilometers per hour is what they call it. It's got shielding to protect the cargo, I assume. 2 heavy laser cannons. This one has a pilot, and there's a commander, a gunner, and a load master to possibly load missiles or whatever. It can hold up to 10 passengers if needed. Cargo capacity is 550 cubic meters, allowing many thousands of metric tons of raw material. Dedicated magnetic shielded cargo container, which we remember in I think it was for Star Wars when they got in the trash compactor and they shot the gun, and he said, "Don't do it. It's magnetically charged, so the bullet doesn't really do anything but bounce around."
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically a defense against laser kind of weapons. I would assume if it's a bigger laser weapon, it might not have as big of an effect, but and it had an electromagnetic tensor field around it. It was used in the Galactic Imperial Army, Imperial Engineers, Imperial Navy, Logistics Corp. Let's see. This one was different. I'm going to show my screen because I didn't show you on the last one. I'm going to show you my screen. This one's a little different. It's kind of almost, the body is closer to a triangle ish. Share screen. Where's my screen? Can't see it very well because it's not that well, but let me try to zoom in. Let's see. Oh, it goes over there.
Went away.
That's it right there. You can see it. It's kind of darker because it's got heavier armor, but this is the fancy door for cargo. Normally, they don't have a side entrance. It's either enter at the top or through the bottom.
So there's a ramp in the nose.
That was the other one that we were talking about.
Oh.
And it doesn't really show where that ramp is, so showing you a picture wouldn't make any sense. So that's that one. like I said, the magnetic shields proved resistance to weapons, like from X-wings and U-wings. These were the they say that they were using these during the Rogue One on Scarif when they were trying to steal the Death Star plans. These were seen there. That's about it. Rebel soldiers. I'm going to continue to share my screen. The next one is called an all-terrain open transport. And you can see, let me zoom this picture in some, see if you can see it better. It is lower to the ground, obviously. Scroll over, please. And presumably stuff, you would put stuff on top of it. But there is room inside, so that's too big.
Like a deuce and a half.
Yeah, see, that's it right there. And it looks like there's a big cannon down here at the bottom.
That's a lot of mechanical stuff to go wrong.
Well, yeah, see, it's got 4 legs on one side, so that means there's 8 legs compared to the ones we've seen before that only had 4. 100%? No. So again, it was manufactured in Kuwait. It's only 14.3 meters long, maximum speed of 55 kilometers per hour. They don't tell the height here at all, so, but you can obviously see it's not as high as the other ones. As a matter of fact, a lot of the guns and things are really close to the ground looking compared to what we've seen. And this was used by pretty much everyone. This was around for quite a while. Obviously, the abbreviation was ATOT for open transport. Commerce Guild used this a lot. It says on Fallujah to. It says one thing they did was use it to contaminate water supplies. That's not nice, is it? Here's another picture of it from the top. It looks a little different. The red kind of makes it hard to see. It's fuzzy now, but looks a little different on top too. Yeah, it looks like they prettied it up too. It says they were seen in the Revenge of the Sith on Fallujah, like I said earlier. Of course, a lot of these things were seen more in the video game stuff. So we have a lot of reference to these kind of vehicles in video games because, you have to kill those things in the video games, I guess. So primary transport for infantry safely on it says fray battleground, so it's a rough battleground probably. At least 3 were used by clone troopers to cross the battlefield. The Commerce Guild used them. Yeah, you have to remember that the military weaponry is kind of confusing in a way because the Empire was built out of the Republic. So they were making weapons for the Republic first, and all of a sudden now it's the Empire, and it's the same weapons, So there was a time when the clone armies were using the weapons that the Empire is exclusively using now without the clones, right? So the rebels were fighting against different things, but at one time, they all had the same weapon systems. So that wraps up the news per se. You got any questions about those guys before I wrap it up?
Can I get one of those?
The 8 legs, that I actually at full speed because I don't believe it.
55 kilometers per hour is pretty fast. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're gonna see some more probably next week. That are like that. They're short, but there's one of them that has, I was telling you, Scott, that has like 10 legs.
No.
There's one leg in front and one leg in the back, and then there's 4 on the sides. It's weird, and
that means it can spin around?
Maybe.
Hey Scott, that's 34 miles per hour.
That's not that fast, is it?
That's pretty clunky.
And then we'll see also later. You remember the 2-legged vehicles too? That we saw. I think there was one in the Mandalorian last season where he was in that village in the one.
Yeah, took it over.
Pirates where you're using that thing to steal shrimp or whatever, so they can make their shrimp beer stuff. I'm gonna stop sharing. I gotta reshare my audio. Wish there was just a kind of like what Scott says, there's just a button I could push instead of having to click through all these menus. All right, so that's the news basically. The news, and that means we have to run this. Spoiler alert. Danger. You're about to be spoiled. This is your spoiler alert. That's enough. So spoiler, if you haven't watched the episode of Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 12, The Outpost, go watch it, come back, and we'll continue. So this episode's... What?
Or just cheat. Listen to us.
Yeah, well, they can. If they want to be spoiled, which is fine. So the directors of this episode were Nathaniel Vallanueva and Brad Rue. Writer was Jennifer Corbett. Editor Matt Michnovetz. The cast, we start out with, if you remember at the beginning of the episode where Crosshair standing on the back of that one transport, there's someone talking. That's Captain Bragg. She's talking about how clones are being phased out. That was played by Shelby Young. Clone troopers that we saw. Crosshair, the Ice Vulture, the clone Mayday, and Veetch were all done by Dee Bradley Baker, of course. Our favorite Lieutenant Nolan was done by Crispin Freeman. The Stormtroopers, we actually saw the Stormtroopers this time. Max C Hampton played them, and then of course at the end of the episode, Emerie Karr was played by Keisha Hughes. Let's hit the... And now, a word from our sponsors. Does your bald head take a beating from shaving, the sun, and all other things Mother Nature throws your way? Do ladies look at your dry, sunburnt head and cringe? Well, guys, there's a new product out there in the head care market that promises to rock your head. I mean dome. Looks soft, clean, and touchable, and it's trending #1 through social media and on YouTube. Introducing Dome Armor. It conditions with moisturizers like coconut oil and shea butter, protects with sunscreen up to SPF 45, and enhances your already sexy dome into an irresistible hands-on experience. Keep your dome safe and protected. Get Dome Armor, now available in fresh bacon scent. Sure to get the ladies to come running in fine stores like Walmart and Lowe's. Oh, and for those still struggling with minor hair loss, try Grow Gain. This product will refresh, revitalize, and regrow hair on your dome. That's what I need. Yeah. We're back. Cool. All right. So we got to look at Scott's head. He's doing pretty good with the dome armor. It's looking nice and soft and shiny there. So, the Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 12, The Outpost.
Here's what the Grow Gain does.
Oh, that's what the Grow Gain does? Bam!
Yep.
Full head of hair. Bam!
And Rick's after.
Before and after. That's funny. Okay. All right. Again, Bad Batch episode 2 or season 2, episode 12. The Outpost. Originally aired on March 8th. 32 minutes long, which is one of the longer ones. And this is interesting. So far this season, all of our episodes have taken place in 19 before the Battle of Yavin. This episode takes place in 18, which if you look at your timesheet or your time chart, the numbers get smaller as they get closer to the Battle of Yavin. So this means a year or so has passed, maybe 6 months, who knows. But it's possible that Crosshair could have been at this location for quite a while before he got grabbed. So what that means is it's time to grab your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, and join us in the Rebel Alliance briefing room.
Unless you're Crosshair and you get called into the office before you can eat.
Yeah.
Mags. What mag?
We need some music there.
All
right, so if you haven't guessed already, this episode is pretty Crosshair centric. It's all about him. It's all about him. So Crosshair's waiting at a spaceport while fresh stormtroopers disembark from shuttles with 3 demobilized clone troopers protest their forced retirement to Captain Bragg. Captain Bragg tells them to raise their concerns with the Imperial Information Bureau, the ISB. Crosshair meets his new commanding officer, Lieutenant Nolan, who tells him he is out of uniform. Crosshair dons his helmet, and Nolan informs him that he and his unit are being reassigned to an Imperial depot on Barton 4. Local insurgents have been targeting the depot due to its high-value cargo. Crosshair and his fellow clone troopers are assigned with guarding this cargo until its transfer the following week. Nolan does not bother to hide his disdain for the clones, regarding them as used equipment. Right? Isn't that rude? They're all used up.
I don't like the lieutenant.
Because the war's over, I guess. They're used up. Crosshair, Nolan, and the clones travel to the snowy world in a Row-class transport shuttle, which maybe we should talk about that one of these times.
Yeah.
After landing, Nolan assigns one of the clones with guarding the ship while he and Crosshair enter the depot, which is staffed by several one-eyed laborer droids. Nolan asks for their supervisor. The commanding officer turns out to be a bearded clone commander named Mayday, who complains that the supply ship was expected 36 rotations ago and asks if they got lost. Where you been, guys? They've been pretty, forgotten about, I guess, at this depot. Nolan replies that they worked on the Empire's schedule before blaming Mayday for understaffed state of the depot. When Nolan asks about his squad, Mayday informs him that most of the unit, apart from himself, Hex, and Veetch have perished. The helmets of the fallen squad mates line the storeroom. Nolan tells Mayday that his failings will be dealt with later before assuming command of the depot until the cargo is transported. When Nolan demands that Mayday treat him with respect, Mayday counters that respect is something that is earned. Nolan responds by derating Mayday's leadership and competence. Mayday counters that by asking Nolan how many missions he has commanded, and Nolan is silent, exposing his lack of command experience.
Well, it's his first.
Yes, first. First and what?
First. He just graduated West Point.
Yeah. And they gave him a fur collar to go with it.
Yeah, but instead of a ring, you get a fur collar.
Oh, okay. Okay. Mayday assigns Hex and Veetch with settling while Nolan speaks with Crosshair. Crosshair remarks that he finds Nolan unbearable after barely 2 hours. When Nolan asks how he got assigned to the lowly mission, Crosshair quips that he was unlucky. The two clone troopers exchange names before Mayday gives Crosshair a tour of the depot and its surroundings. He explains that his unit has spent about a year guarding the cargo while awaiting transportation. Mayday explains that they have been attacked by raiders who have caught them off guard in the last few raids. When Crosshair asks how the raiders got past the sensors, Mayday explains that the polar conditions have degraded their equipment. Though Mayday requested replacements, none have arrived.
Can I say something?
Nope.
Absolutely not. Just kidding.
Say it. Say it. Say it.
I don't like this planet.
Why not?
It's too cold.
Yes, it is.
It's too cold.
It's always cold. It's almost like Hoth, right?
It looks like shorts weather to me.
Almost. I think the hairs on your legs might freeze off if you did that.
Yeah, it did remind me of Hoth, though. I actually thought about that when I was watching it. Like, where's the little oh heck, what are those things called that they rode on?
Tauntauns.
Yeah, I was waiting for one of them to go running by.
Hey, yeah, the birds are pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Ice vultures.
See, it wasn't too cold, or else they would have been flying.
Yeah, but they were way up there, though. It could be warmer up higher. I don't know. Who knows? Crosshair asks about the cargo, but Mayday says that he has not bothered to find out what's inside the containers, describing it as above his pay grade. Mayday advises Crosshair not to scout alone due to the dangerous polar conditions and threats lurking beneath the ice. Mayday also talks about indigenous ice vultures, describing them as vicious creatures whom he grudgingly admires. And I looked this up, and apparently this is the first time ice vultures have been used before. So there's hardly no information about it. It says the ice vulture was a creature native to the planet Barton 4. That's all it says. And we never got to see one up close either, so
I
we only got to see their...
They just threw that in.
Yep. Needed something for you to... For some semblance of some sort.
Something for you to focus on.
I'm basically telling you the foreshadowing that they're both going to die or something strange like that. Anyway, the clone troopers are disturbed by Hex, who informs them via comlink that raiders have breached the perimeter. Mayday assigns Crosshair with covering the east while he covers the west. In order to cut off the raiders, Crosshair takes his position in a tower while Hex realizes that the 3 raiders are approaching the shuttle. Before Crosshair can shoot an intruder is approaching the shuttle, the raider blows up the shuttle. Crosshair is temporarily blinded by the explosion, but manages to shoot the raider from a distance.
I think
when he approaches,
I think it shook Crosshair a little more than just blinding him, because he took a while.
Well, that, and I think he's struggling with following his orders, because you can see he wants to fire, but he doesn't want to fire for a second there.
Yeah.
When he approaches the site, he finds that the intruder has fled towards the mountains, leaving a trail of blood behind. Crosshair pursues the raider, into the frozen landscape. Following the Raiders' trail, he makes his way down a hill into a tunnel. Crosshair is joined by Mayday, who informs him that the Raiders left on a snow skiff down the eastern ridge, or the western ridge, while the others fled on foot down the mountain path. Crosshair disagrees and shows Mayday the tunnel which Raiders used to sneak past the defenses. Dun dun dun. Back at the depot, Mayday pays his respect to the fallen Hex and Veetch by placing their helmets on the crates. An unsympathetic Nolan chastises Mayday for not sending troops to retrieve the 2 stolen crates that were taken by Raiders during the most recent raid. Mayday informs Nolan that Hex and Veetch perished during the raid, and the lack of manpower or gear for the mission can't go beyond the perimeter.
Yep.
When Nolan insists on recovering the stolen crates, Mayday demands that he provide all his clone troopers for the mission. And then, of course, Nolan says no.
No.
And orders Crosshair and Nolan to recover the cargo on their own. No, no, no.
Shame.
Later, Mayday and Crosshair explore the tunnels near the depot. They discover the remains of a fallen humanoid raider. Mayday is bothered that the fallen raider was wearing armor stolen from Crosshair's fallen comrades. So that he was wearing clone armor from the clones that Crosshair brought with him. And his fellow raiders left him behind. Crosshair responds that there's no point in leaving dead weight, promoting Mayday to remark that he wouldn't want to be the one to die on his watch. The 2 sense the earth above them moving, which Mayday attributes to the ice above. Crosshair steps on a pressure mine. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Boom.
But Mayday spots it and warns him not to move. Don't move. And I mean don't move, really. Unwilling to lose another soldier, Mayday disarms the pressure mine with a hammer, which is not completely true. He uses some L-shaped brackets, it looks like to me, like those stealth brackets spikes. Or whatever. Yeah.
Spikes.
They're L-shaped, so the top of it touches the mine so that it doesn't release up.
Which was kind of genius, actually.
Yeah, he puts
like a bouncing Betty.
Yeah, he puts 4 of them on there, 1 in each corner. And remarks that the clone troopers have learned to improvise during the Clone Wars. While Mayday disarms the mine, he asks Crosshair about his unit. Crosshair mentions that he was part of Clone Force 99, but claims they have perished. I don't think he actually said they've perished. He just says they're not around anymore, basically, doesn't he?
They're all gone.
That's what he said.
They're all gone.
Meaning which could be perished, but it means, they're not here anymore.
Yep.
Mayday grumbles about the combat soldiers having to guard supplies following the end of the wars. Having disarmed the mine, Mayday advises Crosshair to slowly lift his foot. Crosshair is able to remove himself from the mine safely. Phew. Continuing their mission, the 2 clone troopers spot a campfire with several individuals using their thermal sensors. Mayday spots 2 sentries outside the camp and advances. The 2 clones incapacitate the sentries before distracting the other raiders with electromagnetic pulse grenades. Using the element of surprise, they attack the raiders with their blasters. One of the raiders attempts to flee with stolen cargo on a land speeder, but Crosshair shoots the raider. Pew, pew. Mayday shoots 2 raiders before being attacked by another raider wielding electrostaffs. Crosshair shoots the assailant while the 2 retreat as more raiders emerge. The 2 clone troopers take up shelter behind a large rock and exchange fire with the raiders. Outnumbered and outgunned, Crosshair shoots at a power grenade in the back that they're storing, which causes an explosion to take out several raiders and causes the rocks to crash in the camp. With the raiders neutralized, the 2 clone troopers proceed to recover the stolen cargo, which turn out to be Stormtrooper armor. Uh-oh. For the new Imperial military.
Very valuable cargo.
Mayday is so upset about it, and their fellow clone troopers are being thrown aside despite their combat service and loyalty. He doesn't like the way that they've been treated, because they are actually humans. They're just, disposable.
Clones.
Disposable. The explosion triggers an avalanche in the nearby mountains, and the 2 clone troopers flee the camp.
Expendable. Reminds me of the movies, The Expendables.
Exactly.
I'll be back.
Unable to outrun the avalanche, Mayday pushes Crosshair and the two shelter near a rock. Later, Crosshair digs himself out of the snow and searches for Mayday. He finds and digs Mayday out of the snow. Mayday tells Crosshair to save himself, but he refuses to abandon a fellow comrade. To protect Mayday from hypothermia, he puts back on his helmet, which I think Crosshair puts on his helmet on Mayday. Because it's a grayer helmet. It's not a standard helmet, is it?
Nope, he uses Mayday's helmet because it was in the snow beside him. Crosshair lost his
helmet on. He can't find his helmet.
Yeah, he lost his.
There we go. Now we got that straightened out, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The following day, the 2 clone troopers travel back to the Barton 5 Imperial Depot, Barton 4. Crosshair props Mayday up during the journey back, and they endure freezing ice conditions. At night, they rest by a rock and huddle with each other for warmth. Brr.
Oh, that is so wonderful.
Look, Crosshair is truly not cold-hearted. He cuddled
But they didn't take their uniforms off to use each other's body warmth.
They needed that to protect them from the wind.
There were no tauntauns running around.
On the second day, they reach their depot after several Imperial shuttles descend on the base. Stormtroopers disembark from the shuttles and begin loading cargo for the base onto their ships. Nolan is supervising the loading. Stormtrooper sentries spot Crosshair and wounded Mayday approaching the base and inform Nolan. Showing no concern for the clone troopers' well-being, Nolan orders the stormtroopers to get back to work while he confronts Crosshair and Mayday. Crosshair requests a medic for Mayday, but Nolan chastises them for failing in their mission to retrieve the stolen cargo. He refuses to send a medic to treat Mayday, regarding him as a waste of Imperial resources. When Mayday succumbs to his injuries, Crosshair is distraught. Uh-oh. Does that mean he cries? No, he doesn't. He probably doesn't cry, does he?
Just on the inside.
On the inside, okay. An uncaring Nolan says that Mayday served his duty as a soldier of the Empire. Crosshair is furious at Nolan and refusing for him to refuse help to Mayday. Nolan responds that clone troopers are expendable and threatens to kill him if he shows further disrespect in the future. Nolan's cruelty and unkindness infuriates Crosshair. You can almost see his head bubbling or whatever, steam coming off of it like they do in the cartoons, right? Well, this is a cartoon, sort of. So anyway, Nolan orders Crosshair to resume his duties. While watching an ice vulture circling, Crosshair addresses Nolan. "Hey, Lieutenant," and shoots him dead with his blaster pistol. He then attends to the fallen Mayday while stormtroopers approach him. Mayday and Nolan Mayday, Nolan, and Crosshair collapse from exhaustion. I thought Mayday was already dead. Anyway.
Yeah, he was. I think it was an accidental discharge.
Exactly.
I don't think he didn't mean to. It was just an accidental discharge.
Didn't mean to kill him. Okay.
No. It was a finger. It was a muscle spasm from all the cold.
So twitching, yeah.
Yeah.
You're starting to get warm again and it twitched.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. Problem solved.
I'm watching it right now.
Later, Crosshair awakens in an operating chamber where he is greeted by Emerie Karr. When Crosshair asks where he is, Karr tells him the doctor will come to him once he is healed. Dun, dun, dun. Crosshair asks, who is she? Who are you? Karr tells him to remain calm before injecting him with a chemical that puts him to sleep. As Crosshair slips into unconsciousness, Karr tells him that if he cooperates, he may survive. And then we see the credits. So, what'd you guys think about that? Huh?
That was one of the better ones.
It was a pretty good episode. They redeemed themselves from a few episodes that weren't that great.
Yeah,
for sure. We kind of know a little bit more about Crosshair now.
A little bit. He's obviously become frustrated with the way he's being treated.
A little conflict. Little conflicted soldier going now.
Definitely. He still wants to follow orders, but as we can see at the end, he doesn't always agree with those orders.
Allegedly.
Yeah, so the obvious question of the week would be, does Crosshair escape from the clone facility? Why is Crosshair at the clone facility? Why did they keep him alive? Those could all be good questions, I suppose. I'll figure out which one to put up there on the website and everything.
Who is the doctor?
Emerie Karr is the doctor. Is going to be that Dr. Hemlock that was in the previous episode, I think.
Or
he's in charge of that facility. He's in charge of that facility.
Or is it? Is it going to be a different doctor?
Or maybe he'll get to see the Emperor. Ooh. Oh.
Maybe.
I don't know. Who knows?
Lots and lots of questions, man. Lots of questions.
So it was definitely a little more action-packed. Even though it made Scott really cold, it was pretty good. That's probably why he's wearing a sweatshirt right now. Is because
I was just going to say he's wearing a sweatshirt because he got cold. Where's your stocking cap at, dude?
What?
Where's your stocking cap? You're cold. You ain't got no hair.
He had from outside from the rain, from being out doing grocery shopping and shit.
He had a hoodie on last week, so.
So that was
this, folks. The hoodie.
There you go. So what do you got opinions about it on this episode, Scott?
It was good. It was I think Crosshair is transitioning to I'd like to have my brothers back.
Maybe. I don't know. He hasn't really.
Do they know this is happening to all of us around the galaxy?
Yeah, they've gotten word. I think they've talked about that the clone troopers are being retired, and being replaced by. Remember, we've got what's his name?
Rex.
Yeah, Rex. But who's that commander that's doing the clone? Or not the clone, but the stormtroopers. Remember, he was in front of the Senate and everything, pleading for money.
Oh yeah. That was like 2 episodes ago, right?
Yeah, he's the one that's in charge of that whole clone trooper operation. So, we could meet him again too. He's the one that singled out Crosshair to from the Bad Batch anyway, because he knew Crosshair was showing signs of loyalty still. So yeah, there's that. All right, so let's plead for some feedback. Hopefully, since we're getting more numbers, the Mandalorian is pretty popular, and more people are seeing our stuff. I don't know if they're watching completely through, but they're seeing it. So
feedback at KyleJohansson.us. That's feedback, KyleJohansen.us.
yeah, there we go. So that's one way you can send us feedback is through that email address, feedback at KyleJohansson.us. You can go to our website, and on one of those sides, left-hand side, I think is the link for feedback. Pops up a form. You can type in what you have opinions about. You think Scott's lack of hair is sexy, or Rick's fading in and out background is kind of cool. Whatever you want to send us, we prefer it to be about our episode, but you can send us anything.
Kyle looking goofy in the headphones.
Yeah, that's right. My wife loves these things too. She says those things are
some real high end industry Raycons, or maybe I've already bought them and given them to him.
I barely have enough money to support this podcast. How am I gonna?
I'll send you 25. I'll send you 26 cents.
Okay. So yeah, I was telling you before they billed me again. So Rick doesn't know, but the website and everything is hosted through Amazon.
Yeah,
they have a service called AWS that allows you to basically have a cloud drive, but you can also turn on the feature where it's available for anybody, which allows our website to work.
Yeah.
And they charge you for traffic.
Really?
And it's very, very small amount. So right now we're getting from I think it's probably, I don't know, maybe the first of the year, we've been starting to get bills from them. Before that, it was such a small amount, they didn't send a bill. It was, forget it, we're not going to charge you. But the last 3 months, it's been 13 cents a month. So,
are they snail mailing you the bill, or are they doing it electronically?
Electronic, of course. I have my credit card information put on. You have to give them your credit card before you can
so
do it or anything. Yeah. So, but it's that also says that our traffic has increased, but not a lot. I think a lot of the traffic we get, at least in my opinion, is people clicking in Twitter when I post a lot of stuff about the episodes and stuff, and I post on the day the episodes come out on Wednesdays, I have an automated thing that posts like 3 or 4 times during the day saying, "Hey, it's your episode's coming out. Go watch it," kind of thing. Anyway, automation. It's great.
You should just go ahead and prepay with a $5 bill, and they won't know what to do because you've paid so much in advance.
Exactly, I should.
I
do like the idea that there's more people and stuff, so I'm fine with it. But there's other things too. There's other things that cost money. We could, if we wanted to pay money, we could get advertising. I could advertise on Twitter, which Scott knows I've done that before, just to see what it was like. And it was okay, but it didn't really do much for us because we didn't have that much of a following to start with, so it didn't do much.
Yeah.
But we could do it on Facebook. We could do it on through Google too, and we would show up as a featured website or featured podcast or something like that. And I showed you guys the screenshot I sent with our YouTube video getting 32 visits the first overnight, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I converted everything over to podcasts. Like I was telling you, they had the ability to list them as podcasts now on YouTube.
Mhm.
So I think people were like, "Oh, this is showing up on my podcast search," and found it. So
It'll be interesting to see after this week if it's the same or not.
Yeah, not many of them actually watched the full episode because it does tell me. It tells me if they listen to partial or all of it, or if they listen to 30 minutes. It doesn't break down every individual, but it says this many people listen to 30% or whatever kind of thing. Data. So back to the feedback question of the week. We have comments underneath the question of the week. Once you answer it, you can explain why you answered the way you answered, or give us any comments there. Like I mentioned, we're on Twitter at super_duper_pod is our current Twitter address. And we're on YouTube, like we mentioned. YouTube has comments as well. And I missed a comment on there, which was from Scott. But Scott put a comment in one of the weeks that Rick, you and I were doing a podcast and he wasn't. And he said, "Wow, NW Bearcat grad, great job. KJJ, awesome job as usual. Good episode. The music at the end of the episode that we were talking about was called New Hope. The coming together of an idea of a rebellion." So he
told you
picked
to on something.
He picked up on it. He probably looked it up on Twitter or something, or Facebook or something, and found it.
But I knew I'd heard it before. I just couldn't know where. Good job, Scott.
Uh-huh.
Good call.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one with the mine, and the kids and stuff. That was that episode.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the Darth Vader theme.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
there was somebody that posted, which it's not possible what they posted, I don't think, but they posted so they said they were looking forward to seeing Darth Vader on Mando this next week. And I'm like, that's not possible. Darth Vader's dead.
Mm-hmm.
He died at the end of episode 7 or whatever that was.
Or
6.
did he?
Or did he? Well, we saw him burn up, so
did he? Did he die?
Or
and he turned into a Force ghost, so you can't turn into a Force ghost if you're alive.
Maybe that was just part of the Force.
Okay.
Easy.
Anyway, I laughed at the guy. I was like, I had to reply to him. I said, Darth Vader's dead.
That wasn't me. I didn't do that.
So, yeah, so that's the feedback. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up?
No.
Nope. I think it was a good episode. Can't wait to see what happens next.
Yep. They kind of gave us a little cliffhanger there at the end with Crosshair.
We got 3 left or 4?
What was that? That was 12. There's 16 episodes, so 4.
4.
Yep.
Ooh, excited.
And the last 2 are come out the same week. So that week we'll have 3 episodes to review. So I don't know if we'll have time to do all 3 of them at once or not, but we'll see. We'll see.
We should go to a pub or something set up.
Yeah, we could. I was thinking, next week is Comic-Con, right?
Yeah.
Scott wants to go to Comic-Con. I don't really want to go, but that would be a perfect
dude.
That would be a perfect place to
get
get
video.
people to watch us and stuff. Okay, so since you asked, Rick, the last 4 episodes titles are Pablo, Pabu, and then Tipping Point, The Summit, and Plan 99.
No more.
And I'm guessing Tipping Point is when Crosshair goes over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
He falls down into a deep dark pit, something like that.
Or he makes a decision.
And then Plan 99, they resurrect him with the Force.
I think there's going to be more accidental discharges during that episode.
Maybe. Too many Imperial people get in the way of the accidental discharge.
Yep. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oops. I don't know. I think we're gonna see those commandos again. Scorch was the one that we got a named commando last episode. I think we're gonna see him again. I think that's he's gonna be a part of at least finding the rest of the crew and possibly bringing them to the same place that Crosshair's at. And there's an escape plan going to happen.
Ooh,
Like Rick said, accidental discharges all over the place.
maybe a boom.
That's what I think. All right, so since we all have our opinions, let's end this show. Thank you for listening to the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast. Please visit our website where you can play current and past episodes. That's https://RABR KyleJohansson.us. That's RABR KyleJohansson.us. On the left-hand side is a navigation menu. You can use this to learn how to load the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room podcast on your Android or Apple phone and tablet. And we have direct links to our podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts. Please participate by connecting to our social media, answering questions of the week, or submitting feedback directly from the site. Again, all of these are available at the Rebel Alliance Briefing Room website at RABR.KAILEJOHANSEN.US. This podcast in no way is approved, sponsored, or owned by Lucasfilms Ltd., Disney, Disney Plus, or any of its subsidiaries. All opinions are solely owned by Kyle and or Scott, and in no way express the views or opinions of their past or present employers. Views and opinions are not supported or restricted by Lucasfilms Ltd., Disney, Disney Plus, or any of its subsidiaries. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of this podcast and its affiliate sites without consent of Super Duper Podcast Network and its host is prohibited. Yes, it is. I am Kyle Johansson, and this is Andrew Scott Sutton. Say goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye. Everybody say goodbye.
And that basketball.
And we had Rick this week, so don't forget to say goodbye to him.
Hey,
Night.
Rick, what Bearcat basketball do this year?
They're playing today. That's what I've been kind of like
They won the
looking at
championship.
my phone a little bit to see scores. But they're actually hosting a regional tournament. So
I thought they won the championship.
they won the MIAA, yeah.
Yeah,
They're hosting their tournament to advance. So if they win this, they're in the Sweet 16.
Woo! Go boys.
It's going to be pretty